There are a few movies I'd like to see. I want to see Poor Things, for example, but I live in Japan and Poor Things doesn't come out here until the end of January. But I bet a lot of you didn't see Perfect Days. Let's start with the 4 runners-up. Number 14, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. It's a deeply flawed film, but we all love Bowser's song. And at least this time, Mario and Luigi were actually Mario and Luigi instead of Eddie Valiant, and we don't talk about Bruno. Number 13, Hypnotic. Robert Rodriguez seemed to be phoning this one in. Maybe he felt Inception stole his thunder. I don't know, but it's still Robert Rodriguez. Number 12, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It wasn't as good as the first one, but it wasn't bad. Number 11, John Wick Chapter 4. Donnie Yen was a welcome presence, though maybe he's the reason all the rest of the fight choreography seemed oddly slow by comparison. I think the franchise peaked with the second film, but this was alright. Okay, now for the big ones. The 10 best movies of 2023, according to me. Number 10, Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I wish they'd make a Dragonlance movie and something less meta, but this one felt like it had genuine heart. The characters have problems you care about, and they're played with real charm and integrity, particularly by Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, and Hugh Grant. Praise the gods for small favors. Number 9, Asteroid City. It's not one of Wes Anderson's most impressive or meaningful films, but it has a wonderful aesthetic, and it's always nice to visit Anderson's deadpan, sincere retro universe. Number 8, Thanksgiving. This was a satisfying meal, and with some real holiday cheer in the form of dark, bloody humor and a genuinely engaging mystery. Number 7, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. It's yet another iteration reboot of the Ninja Turtles franchise, but this time someone had the bright idea to make it like a real movie. The teenagers are written like the screenwriters actually thought about what it was like to be a teenager. The animation is terrific, and everyone feels alive in a way characters don't tend to in franchise fare nowadays. Number 6, Master Gardener. Paul Schrader's throwback to the revenge Searchers-inspired movies of the 70s is a fascinating continuation of that particular conversation about human nature. What is the value of human life? What is the value of violence? Also, Sigourney Weaver has jellyfish wallpaper. Number 5, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. James Gunn's cocktail of space weirdness and a found family helping each other get through a life of brutal trauma is at its most potent in the 3rd volume of his Guardians of the Galaxy films. He's definitely leaving on a high note and delivered the best Marvel movie in years. I know there's not much competition, but still. Number 4, Killers of the Flower Moon. Scorsese delivered a fascinating rumination on human frailty and human corruption with this masterfully crafted film. Just like Henry Hill and Goodfellas laid out the appeal of the mafia lifestyle, Scorsese with Flower Moon shows just how insidiously corruption can take root in a community. Number 3, Perfect Days. Wim Wenders' latest film is both an admiring portrait of Zen-like acceptance, as well as a criticism of it. Altogether, it's an excellent modern example of mono no aware, and an incredibly poetic exhibition of how the human heart will always need more than it can get in life. Number 2, Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan has made an ingenious sequence of cinema with this movie. This 3-hour movie that goes down smooth as finely aged whiskey. Every link in the chain of this non-linear narrative flows smoothly into the next. Purely as an example of technical expertise, it's a wonder to behold. The story, too, is brilliant. The story about how the unpredictable or all too predictable interweaving of human interests, of love, jealousy, ambition, and patriotism can have consequences equal to the highest levels of achievement and the lowest depths of human dread. Number 1, The Boy and the Heron, or Kimitachi wa do Ikiruka. The courage director Miyazaki Hayao had in making this movie is manifold. It took courage to make this kind of statement in Japan's current political climate, and it took courage to make an intellectually and aesthetically challenging movie in a Japanese film industry that mostly clings to producing empty fluff. It takes guts now just to make something this beautifully weird. So there you have it, my top 10 best movies of 2023.